King Arms PDWs. So this one I've had for about 3-4 years, probably about 4 years now, close to 4. This is a dual sector gear. This is a friend's. He bought one because he liked mine so much, and his is also a dual sector gear. Basically a pretty identical build, at least in terms of internals. So I figure I'd just show mine off. I haven't had it on the channel in a long time, and I haven't played Airsoft in a while, so you haven't seen me use it or anything. So these are King Arms PDWs. They use MP5 magazines, which are pretty cool. They're, a good magazine pattern to use, in my opinion. So it would be a 9mm PDW, if you will, if it was real. It's not, of course. It's just an Airsoft rendition of like a pistol caliber AR platform gun. So I believe the barrel on here, I want to say it's 6 inches. I don't think it's 8. Yeah, I think it's 6. So the rail that I have on here is 8, and I believe that one's 7. So I won't talk much about mine because I've already had it on my channel, but I do have the same DSG, a SHS sector gear. We both have 16-to-1 SHS, spur and bevel gear, so they are CNC'd gears, all of them, 16-to-1. I have a BTC Spectre Mark II Bluetooth in mine. I opted for the Troy rail system. He wanted something a little bit cheaper. I also have this Trigicon replica. What is this, an SRO? Yep. It's just a fake one you can buy on eBay for like $40. So it's just on there for looks. I don't really care for it all that much, to be honest. It might be a nice optic for a pistol, but for this, it just sits too low. So I could probably get a little riser, but it's just for looks. It's Airsoft. So this one is his. He doesn't have any accessories for it yet. I'm not sure if he plans on putting anything on here. I would imagine just some sort of Airsoft red dot just to, give it some look, because most people in Airsoft don't aim down their sights because it's kind of useless. You just watch your BBs fly in the air. Now, the rail system that he went with on this is a Noveski, the NSR 7-inch. So this rail was about $60, if I'm not mistaken, and the Troy was $90. So he did opt for a cheaper rail system, but it is in great shape. It's brand new. The Troy definitely has a better finish on it, although this isn't bad. This is like anodized aluminum, so it's not a bad finish. That one is just some sort of like, I want to say maybe parkerized or phosphate, something like that. It's like a rough matte finish. This is pretty matte as well, but this is obviously like anodized. This is not anodized. It's some other type of finish that's more common on firearms, like real guns. This is, more of an Airsoft type finish. Hope that makes sense. But it doesn't mean it's bad. It looks like it's got slots even on the 45 degree. It looks like you can mount stuff there, so that's pretty cool. Some of them just have bottom, left, and right. The top is monolithic because it's got Picatinny on the top. Mounts with 6 screws here. It is kind of a pain to get the old rail system off. In fact, you have to Dremel off the barrel nut. I had somebody message me or comment on my video on this gun forever ago asking me how to get the barrel nut off, because they glue it. They straight up glue the barrel nut on there, and it's plastic. The rail's plastic and the barrel nut's plastic. So there's nothing to get an AR wrench on, or even pliers to turn it, or a crescent wrench. Nothing. So you literally have to just cut it with a Dremel and then peel it, because it's plastic, so you can kind of crack it after you cut a line down it. So I did the same thing on both of these. So it's not too big of a deal. You just have to have a Dremel, and we ditched both of the crappy Picatinny rails because it was just plastic. So as you can see, it actually has the Noveski trademarks, which is pretty cool. It's good for the price. $60 is a great price for something like this. Now he did put this on here. I think this came from his old HPA gun, which he no longer has, so it just threads on there. Now, I think he has a foam-filled suppressor. For an AEG, it's not really a big deal, but he did talk about he was wanting to put it on here. He'll have to get an extension. You can get like a 2-inch extension, or even 1-inch maybe 2, like out to here, and then you could fit a suppressor on there. But as it sits here, you can't because the ratchet is too far back. So it is what it is, but if he really wants to put his suppressor on there, he can get a tiny extension that'll push it out a little bit. Those don't cost a whole lot. But that is made of steel, so nice. Plastic flip-up sights come with the gun. Mine have the same thing on there. As you can see, this one has the blue parts on it. So blue dust cover, charging handle, stock piece, magazine catch. Now this has a magazine catch here, which is easily accessible, and then one on the bottom like an MP5. So you got 2. So this one's ambi, this one is not, it's just on that side. Bolt lock is blue and selector switch. Pistol grip on here. Now I have the one without the hook on the back because I hate that. This is way too thick. Like, this would be for someone with extra large that wears extra large gloves, and he does not wear extra large gloves. So I don't know why this is on here. I didn't see the one that's on mine in his box, so I don't know if it comes with them or not. The stocks on here are obviously the same. I had to take the cap out. I leave the cap out on mine, and I have a specific battery that fits it, and they're hard to find. They're the Nanotech Tenergy. They're always out of stock. Like, I cannot find those Nanotech batteries anymore. Some airsoft shops sell them, but like, you cannot buy them from Hobby King directly anymore. They're always out of stock. So he does have, what do they call it? Titan, the Titan 11.1s. I think he's got 2 of those. They're nunchuck. So that will fit in here. But, you know, he's probably going to have to keep the stock in quite a bit so that it doesn't fall out. So mine, I don't have the cap on the back of mine, but it is impossible to fall out. So he should be okay. And this stock is really long. Like, I'll show you a profile when I shoulder it. To be comfortable, it has to be here. Like, it is just so long. It's absurd. I have no idea who in the world would want their stock out that far. So most people are going to have it in, like, here or maybe one more. Anyways, so the battery can't fall out. Now, that's pretty much it for the externals. Onto the internals. Again, it's got, I don't know if I mentioned, the Jeftron Leviathan. It is the optical version, so it does use Bluetooth with an app. So I've got the trigger in there, short trigger pull. That's all it is. Now, the trigger spring is really, really heavy on these gearboxes, which I don't really like. It's not a light spring, but I did shorten the pull. I don't think I used this original spring on this one because the pull on this is like 1/3 of the actual tightness, if you will, the actual like pounds that you have to put into it. The actual play is about the same. So it's just the fact that the spring on this one is so much more powerful. It does have a SHS high torque motor. Again, 16-to-1 SHS gears with the SHS DSG, SHS metal rack piston. I think it's a Retro Arms piston head, if I'm not mistaken. SHS M160 spring, stock gearbox shell, stock cylinder, cylinder head, SHS tappet plate. Actually, it's the original tappet plate. I just cut it to size for the DSG. I did get an SHS just in case I needed to use that instead. What else? That's pretty much it. It does have a quick change spring system, which is really cool, and it's actually through the receiver, so you don't have to take the gearbox out. You just take the stock off. So that is really cool. Now, the hop-up on here is different than mine. The rotary style is what this one uses, which is actually better in my opinion. This one on here is the original type, just kind of crappy. I never changed it because this thing just shot so good. So I was like, I'm not going to mess with it. I mean, this thing shoots absurdly good. Now, this one shoots harder in terms of FPS. I actually tried this spring in that gun, and it didn't shoot the same FPS. So something about this is shooting lower FPS. It has a different style hop-up. The same barrel, I think. I don't know. This one was purchased about 3 years before this one, so they changed the hop-up. I don't know if they changed anything else, but it just doesn't shoot as hard. So mine is using a M160 spring, and it shoots 340 with .25s. This one is shooting 300, 305 with .25s. So the same BBs, this one is about 35, 40 FPS less, even if I put this spring in there. So it's not the spring. It's weird. I don't want to go with a heavier spring because the gearbox shell just won't be able to handle it, honestly. So it's just going to have to be the way that it is. Great CQB gun. He can mount an M-LOK a rail here and put a flashlight on there and use it indoor. I know he also has a Scorpion Evo that I sold him for indoor, but I think those are his only 2 indoor guns, so it doesn't hurt to have 2. It could be used outdoors as well. It has decent range. Most fields don't allow full auto, unfortunately. It's really whack that open plays don't allow full auto. So I doubt he will be using full auto anyways, which is just unfortunate. Open plays, I mean, come on, guys. Comment below, let me know. Should open plays have full auto? Like, just literally, you know what an open play is? Just an average pickup game, if you will. Should they allow full auto? I think they should. It doesn't have to be every game, but maybe 50% of the games. You know what I mean? Like, not all day, but 50% of the games. Like, when you brief, you let people know, hey, this game's going to be a full auto game. Don't shoot anybody on full auto under 50 feet, maybe even 25. But typically, I don't shoot anybody on full auto under 50. Just a courtesy. But instead, they outlaw it completely because people get their feelings hurt. So this is not the battery he's going to be using. This is a 11.1 45 to, I think, 70 C rating. It is a very high discharge battery. So I actually delayed the RPS on this. So I have it at 95%. I tried it with the battery that I used with that gun with no full auto delay, and it was doing 35 to 37 RPS, which is literally the exact same that does. Again, well, I have a 30K ASG motor in that one. This one is an SHS, so it's just a different motor. Both 30K, give or take, just different companies, but the same gears, about the same spring, same pistons. So they're doing 35 to 37 with the type of battery he's going to use. This one's more powerful, and this just came off the Charger 2, so I turned it down a little bit just so we're not shooting 40, so it should be 35 to 37. The magazines that he has are mid-caps. This one came with the gun. I think he has a couple of these curved ones, but he said he wanted to use the straight ones, and these are metal. The other one's plastic. They both work just fine. I have one of my magazines out here. I think these are Mag brand or whatever, plastic. They work fantastic. Most MP5 mid-caps feed great, so I haven't had any problems. But I think he said he had quite a bit of magazines. I think he found a really good deal, or somebody gave them to him for free. I can't remember. But I think he has like 6, 7, 8 of them. I do have a little bit of overhop on there. So remember, with the really tight spring on the trigger, I can't shoot it as fast as I could some other guns because I can't, like, jiggle it, if you will. I have to put more effort into it. But as you can see, it keeps up. There is no trigger delay whatsoever. Let's try the straight magazine. These are .25 BBs. So as you can see, quite a bit of overhop. In fact, I'm going to turn that down a hair. And we are getting, again, it was like 305 with 2 5s, which is like 335 with the 2. So pretty much legal at all indoor fields. I'd say about 180 feet range. Now, if you were wondering, there is no pre-cocking on semi-auto. Now, I did 10 milliseconds of pre-cocking on my BTC. Now, the systems are completely different, so it doesn't do much. A little bit of pre-cocking with the DSG doesn't do much. There's not much you can pre-cock because there's only 8 teeth, so you don't want to pre-cock much. The idea is to basically pre-cock it to the point where the sector gear is like touching the piston, the first tooth, ready to pull it back is the ideal spot, so you're not actually starting to pull the piston back, so it's not like compressing the spring and keeping the teeth under pressure. So that is pretty much it for the video. Hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you guys in the next one.